In a small country town lived Teresa, a 30-year-old woman who dreamt of finding a love to build a life with. She had an unusual routine, waking up early to do exercises, then she prepared to make lunch and go to work every single day. On a beautiful Thursday, Teresa was having a conversation with a friend about her love life delusions, and her friend suggested that she try to find a date through a dating app. Teresa wasn't really fond of the idea in the beginning, but when she got home, she decided to give it a try. She downloaded the app, and in a few minutes, she started a conversation with a really handsome and attractive man. His name was Mark, and they actually had a lot in common. He was really charming, practiced sports, liked to cook, travel, and he seemed to be close to where Teresa lived, only a couple miles away. They arranged a date at a cafeteria on the next day to get to know each other better. When Teresa arrived at the cafeteria, she was mesmerized with Mark, who had bought her a lovely bouquet of flowers and looked even more handsome than she imagined. He was funny, he knew all the words a woman would want to hear, and was extremely gentle during the whole date. At the end of the date, Mark invited Teresa to travel with him. He said he needed to go to a near city for work and that they could enjoy and spend time together there, suggesting picking her up on Saturday morning for them to enjoy the rest of the day in the city. Teresa thought it was too soon for that kind of invite, but got excited with the idea of getting out of her everyday routine, and so she decided to embrace that little adventure, anxious to know what it would be like. They said goodbye, and Teresa got home dazzled and started thinking what she would bring with her to the trip. What would they do when they arrived, and how they could enjoy each other's company in the best way possible. She wrote a list with ideas of romantic places for them to go and searched for good restaurants. The next day, Mark did exactly what they planned, and early in the morning, they were on the road. They started listening to the radio and were talking excitedly when, only after an hour on the road, Mark started to act strange. He was talking normally before, but now was in complete silence, looking at the car mirror incessantly. Teresa felt really nervous, but stayed quiet, observing him. Mark stopped the car on the roadside, and there were no people or establishment near them. Teresa felt her heart race with fear, staying still, but thinking the worst things that could happen to her at the moment. Mark received a phone call, and after a couple minutes, he turned off and continued driving without saying a word to Teresa. Until he suggested stopping at a restaurant to use the bathroom and eat something. As much as the atmosphere was strange, she agreed because she really needed to use the bathroom and was really hungry. As soon as they got in, Teresa rushed to the bathroom, leaving her backpack inside the car. When she got back, she looked through every spot but couldn't find Mark anywhere. She kept looking, but the parking lot was also empty, and it looked like he had left. There were no other clients, only Teresa and one attendant. That's when she realized she had been robbed and left alone in the middle of the road. She got really sad and didn't know what to do next. Her backpack with all her documents and money were all inside Mark's car. Did he plan everything from the beginning? Did he seduce me just to rob me after? Teresa thought with herself and started crying, feeling abandoned and humiliated. She kept contemplative for an hour, remembering all of the love frustrations she had throughout her life that hurt her and almost made her give up on love. A couple hours later, she cleaned up her tears and looked at the attendant in front of her, who was preparing something that looked like a burger. Her belly complained with hunger, and she decided to think of some way to get out of there, until the attendant approached and offered her a meal on the house. Teresa looked at the man and smiled, accepting that gentle gesture, thanking him. His name was Peter, and they started a conversation that ended up lasting a while, as if they knew each other for a long time. Peter said that there was a park near there where they could go and spend some time together, which was exactly what they did. They talked a lot, then kept staring at each other, enchanted with one another, and Teresa felt a shiver run through her spine that didn't go away. The look between the two of them was really intense. It seemed from another world. And beyond all the attraction, there was also a friendship. They laughed and had a lot of fun on the rest of that day. They arranged another date as soon as they could. They didn't want to waste the time away from each other. Even without a phone, Teresa followed Peter on the social media, and they spent the whole night video chatting and arranging a picnic. The next day, Peter prepared everything and they had the best of times. He was really romantic and wasn't ashamed of showing his affection for Teresa. Peter took his guitar and played many songs for her. There was a lot of care between them. It was one of the best days in that woman's life, who had always wanted to find someone truly sweet and loving, just like Peter was. It seemed too good to be true, but it was real, and after that picnic, they never got apart. Nowadays, 10 years after the first date, they live a life full of love in the company of their children, and know they don't need anything else to be happy. I invite you to comment the city you are watching this video from, and if you know any story like this one, please leave a comment, like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe for more fantastic stories.